I want to talk to you today about attention and deferred gratification so you'll know why they're two of the most important things in your entire real estate career. What's up, my friend? Coach Courtney here with Real Estate Growth Solutions. And I want you to understand that attention and deferred gratification are under attack. With every new algorithm, with every new social media platform, if you want to look at TikTok as the most recent example, it's getting harder and harder for people to have any attention whatsoever. Just think about the 7-second reel, okay? That's a thing, 7 seconds is a very popular length of reel now where folks will engage with the whole thing before scrolling. Now, isn't that insane to you that 7 seconds is kind of a sweet spot right now for attention? That 90-second reels just seem like an eternity, and when you're watching them, they seem really, really hard to get through. It's true. We're being trained to have limited attention spans, and we're being trained out of deferred gratification. Now, here's the challenge. You're in a career in real estate where these two things are two of the most important things that you can have, because very little comes quickly and easily in real estate. And if you can't sustain attention on a task or priority or a goal for a very long period of time, and if you can't defer your gratification 10 years out, 7 years out, 5 years out, there's a really good chance that you're not going to feel like you're making sufficient progress and you're going to burn out. So I want you to think about this. What is it that you are doing in your daily life that's allowing you to see further down the road so that you can defer gratification further and still feel like you're making progress? What is it that you're doing to protect your attention span so that you can stay focused on these mundane, boring tasks for longer periods of time that will allow you to be successful in the longer term? That's a real question. Now, here are some things that you might think about if you haven't already. One of the best things that you can do is adopt a meditation practice. It's one of the most important things that anyone can do to rid their mind of unnecessary static, be present in these beautiful moments that we're blessed with throughout the course of our lives, and just learn to be truly grateful for these times that we have with one another, like this time right now. When we do that, we gain back attention. Okay, we have the ability then, by exercising that muscle of attention, to be able to sustain attention for even longer periods of time, recognizing that our ability to do that over longer periods of time will then translate into our ability to also defer gratification over longer periods of time. Now, don't forget, real estate can be super exciting, but the day-to-day work that we have to do, realistically, it isn't. It's often mundane. It's often repetitive. If you think about it, the two most important tasks that any real estate agent has, what are they? Prospecting and following up. Well, that doesn't change day to day, does it? No. Same phone, same CRM, same script over and over and over, same needs assessment. And if you're like us, same storyline with the triangle of proximity on top, followed by a quick close, right? That's the process that we're using. And we're using it 2 hours a day in our outbound prospecting and an hour a day in our follow-up. And we know that when we do that, we can achieve a multiple six-figure income, but that's boring. Like, the excitement thing is being out showing properties, right? Dealing with crazy situations that come up in homes and in negotiations and deals and working with other realtors and the complexities of all that. That's why we love real estate, isn't it? Those things that get the blood flowing, right? The excitement around the negotiation, the excitement of the close, the excitement of getting that big paycheck, right? Your first 5-figure paycheck if you've ever had one. I can remember mine. Those are the things that we think that we're getting into when we get into real estate, right? You remember that? We get into real estate for all the money and all the freedom, the excitement, the direct connection to people, the direct connection to feedback, so that if we were doing well, we could see it in people's faces. If we weren't doing so well, we could see it in people's faces. Come to find out, the job is prospecting and following up. That work's done at a desk, inside, in a quiet environment, and I'll never have the opportunity to represent a buyer or a seller unless I'm doing this work over here, this boring, mundane, repetitive work over and over and over and over and over. I like to say at least the first 3 years, until you've built up a sufficient book of business that now you're earning back all that repeat and referral business. If you're using your CRM effectively, staying engaged with all your people, doing your 33 touches a year with your email campaigns, your pop-bys, your phone calls, your text messages, all the stuff that you need to do to earn those repeat and referrals. Is that exciting work? No, it's also boring and mundane. And so I want to ask you, what is it that you're doing to protect your attention so that you can stay on these tasks, so that you can defer your gratification over a 10-year period where you can dramatically change the trajectory of your life? Now, I'll give you my example, okay? I got into real estate 14 years ago, $60,000 in the hole, okay? Credit card debt upside down on mortgages, just about to get divorced. Things were brutal, okay? I had a 3-month runway. All right, I managed to save $5,000 cash. I had a $5,000 Visa and a $5,000 line of credit, and I quit my job. And I needed $5,000 a month. I was making a pretty good income at that time, okay? So I had a 3-month runway in order for me to make my deals happen. Do you think that I was able to sustain attention in order to make that work? You bet I did. My plan B was more plan A. My plan C was more plan A. I had to make this thing work. I had no other way. Didn't matter what I did. I was just going to keep doing it. And I would do more of it. And I would do more. And I would apply more hours. And as I had some success, I would find ways to leverage out of those things and add more things in. That's how I've built this business. Like I said, having sold over 3,000 properties for over $1 billion in that time, team of over 50 agents in 3 markets. Well, these things are possible if you can commit to this boring stuff over and over and over a very long period of time. Now, when I think about even medium-term time frames, I think in terms of decades now. So I'm 47 years old. I didn't get into real estate until I was 34. I'm looking now at what things are going to be happening when I'm in my mid-50s. Late 50s. My kids are young, so I'll be working well into my 60s by choice, not by necessity. I've been able to turn that minus $60,000 net worth into over a $6 million net worth right now. Own multiple buildings, multiple streams of cash, passive income from rental properties and other investments that we've made. We'd have tremendous good fortune. How's that been possible? Is it because every moment of every day I spend time doing exciting things with exciting people, high-fiving and, cheersing? No, the truth is that's actually been very little of this journey. The bulk of the journey has happened behind closed doors, in silence, pushing buttons, doing hard work like phoning people, texting people, emailing people when I was tired, when I wanted to go home, when I wanted to go out with friends, when I would rather be on a holiday or doing anything but being in the office on a Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. See, those are the boring, mundane, repetitive things that we need to keep our attention on in order to achieve these long-term goals that we have. And unless we can defer our gratification out long enough, we'll simply never get there. So one of the things I want you to think about, first of all, plan for it, okay? Plan for the mundane, plan for the boring. Plan for losing the ability to have attention. Sacrifice some of those social media platforms. Like I say, be a purveyor of content. Don't be a consumer of content. It's eroding your ability to pay attention. Okay, first and foremost. Second thing, read. One of the best things that you can do to stay plugged in, to stay attention, is literally to practice it with reading. Okay, a meditation practice is also another great thing that you can do to sustain your attention. Now, this will apply directly to your ability to stay on task when you're doing your work. Okay, so that solves the kind of day-to-day problems for you. But then you might say, well, Court, how do I manage that 10-year time horizon? How am I going to stay plugged in to my goals over that period of time? How am I going to defer my gratification for some of these big things that I'm working towards over such a long period of time? Real simple answer to that. Celebrate every win. Okay, all too often I hear people that are judging their journey. They'll say things like, I did this thing, but it happened way too late. Or I did this thing, but it wasn't as great as I hoped it would be. Or I did this thing, but anyway, it's not really what I'm working towards. They're forgetting the most important thing. Every one of these things is stacking up to be a monumental accomplishment over time, but they're downplaying it. They're not giving themselves permission to celebrate. Now, I'm not talking about going on a bender and leaving work for 5 days and getting off task forever, but I am saying stand up, pat yourself on the back, celebrate it, tell some people about it, get those accolades that you deserve because you've had time on task, you've had your potential and attention on your tasks, and you've been doing it over a long period of time. You have to celebrate these wins, and you deserve to be pat on the back. Don't defer that gratification. Celebrate that stuff every single time it comes along, so long as you're staying on that path. It's a very simple thing to do. Just give yourself permission to celebrate. There's no win that's too small. The wins that I'm talking about, those are the wins of going to the office on a day when you didn't feel like it, making that extra phone call when you were tired, sending out that additional email campaign when you really didn't know what you were going to put in it, but you decided to go to ChatGPT, get creative, and you finally got in the groove of doing some work. And next thing you know, 3 hours later, you got your email campaign. Like, those are the things that you need to celebrate. And those are the things that too often we don't give ourselves credit for. Those are major wins because those things stacked on top of one another over a much longer period of time gets you to that point where you can, over a long period of time, celebrate some massive wins. Deferring that gratification a little bit further down the road, taking that week holiday a little bit too soon, taking that day off work before you've really deserved it, but patting yourself on the back and then getting back to it as quickly as possible. Now listen, I have big goals. Over the next 10 years, I plan on adding nearly an extra 0 to my net worth. I got a lot to do, right? So am I motivated and excited for that? for sure. Am I hooked on it, thinking about it every single day? No, not at all. You know what? I've got my daily action plan. I know exactly what needs my attention. I know that if I show up each day focused on those things, that naturally that future will show up for me. And most importantly, the people and the things that will facilitate my getting there more quickly, they'll show up organically too. Why? Because I'm not choking it, trying so hard to make it happen. I'm focused on being present, having great energy, being plugged into the people that I'm plugged into in these moments, doing my best work, committing my 10 out of 10 energy, whatever that looks like on that given day, forgiving myself for my failings, patting myself on the back for the wins, deferring the gratification as far as I can, recognizing that in doing so, I'm actually bringing those goals much closer. And the same will be for you too. I hope this serves you. If you want to chat more about your goals, building a roadmap to get there, I would love to hear from you. Some of the big wins that you've got, go ahead, post them below. It'd be cool to hear your stories and to celebrate you. Okay, take good care.